In the last video, we just looked at how can we make a graph for a bucket brigade network, and we ourselves have written a code for this. So what really helps is if you go and look at this network X documentation, which you can find here. You can also find the link in the description of this video. You'll see a number of functions which are already available to create a diverse kind of network. So if you have studied graph theory, there's this function here, balanced underscore tree, which returns you a perfectly balanced R tree of height h. Similarly, there are a lot of functions. This one makes a barbell graph. So if you do not know what a barbell graph is, you can just click here and see it. So what it does is this function takes as arguments m1 and m2. It makes two complete graphs. So first one having m1 nodes. So a complete graph is one in which all nodes are connected with edges. So it on graph of n nodes, it will have n choose two edges. It makes two complete graphs, one having m1 number of nodes, other having m2 number of nodes, and it connects them with the help of a path. There are some more. There is a complete graph, then you can make a cycle graph, you can have a null graph which doesn't have any nodes and edges, a star graph where there is one node in the center which is connected to the remaining ones, a wheel graph where there is a single hub which is connected to a cycle, so on and so forth. I I would suggest you explore this. We are going to talk about some of the important functions here. So just to give an idea, just to give you an idea of how these functions work, I'll just pick some random function from here and show you how it works. So let's take this one here. So it's a lollipop graph. Let's look at what it is. It says that so what it will do, it will create a connected graph which is having m nodes, and then it will be connected to a path which is pn. So it says that it's again a barbell graph without the right barbell. So there will be just one complete graph which will be connected to a path length of n. So let's just try to make it and visualize it. Let's look at the argument. So it needs two arguments, m and n. So currently we are not going to use this one, create underscore using. I'm just going to make a graph here, an x dot, and I want a lollipop graph. I hope the spelling is correct. And let's say I want my complete graph to be of to have 6 nodes, and let's say I want a path length of 10, and I can just draw this graph and show it. Let's just execute it and see. It's taking some time. Okay, so you see here I haven't used that label thing here, so you can see here we have a complete graph on 6 nodes which is connected to a path of 10. So that's how you can use some of these functions. So you can play around with these different kind of graphs and see what's happening. So what we'll do now is we'll just move on. So these are some, so these graphs which we are talking about here, all these graphs, they seem to be some very well organized networks which we study in graph theory, like bipartite graph, complete bipartite graph, null graph, star graph, so on and so forth. But if you look at a real world network, so let's just slide slow. Yeah. So if you look at a real world network, it looks something like this. So this one here, it doesn't look like a barbell graph or a lollipop graph or a complete graph or a wheel graph or a path graph. It looks just random. It looks completely disorganized. If you look at any real world network, like most of them will appear to you like this, and you'll feel like they do not have any particular organization in them. But slowly what this tutorial will reveal to you, you will find that actually it's not so. Even though this network looks like very unorganized to you, even such networks have some very well defined properties. We'll be looking at some of those properties. What is astonishing is if we talk about social networks, so humans have been organizing themselves in these social networks from the time they evolved. uh, so there was this very nice study where what the researchers have done, they went to this a village in Africa, a remote village in Africa, which even today doesn't have any technology. People do not use these kind of languages that we use. So they went here and they tried to portray the network structure of these people. So since they do not know English, what the researchers have done is they went with some photographs, and with the help of those photographs, they showed these people photographs of each other, and then they portrayed a social network from there. And then they looked at the properties of the Facebook graph, and what was astonishing is whatever properties the network on these people showed, they were similar to the properties you'll see in an actual online network such as Facebook, which shows that these organizational principles which are responsible for binding human beings in different kind of relationships, they have remained same from that time, from centuries ago, even till today. So we'll look at what these properties are, how does some of those principles work, and what they are. Now we are towards a venture where we want to create a graph which looks like a real world social network. So here you are seeing a real world social network. uh, so researchers, they looked at this real world social network. I'm going back like 100 years back and then trying to see what happened. So one one looked at this graph and then they thought that yes, I want to come up with an algorithm which creates a network which looks exactly like the real world network. So the first thing which came in their mind is this network looks completely random to me. It doesn't appear that nodes here are connecting to each other in a particular organizational way. So let me just produce a random graph where nodes, anyone can just connect to anyone, and maybe such a network will look similar to a real world network. So how do you do that? No, that is pretty straightforward. You start with certain nodes. Assume that I have 100 students in a classroom, and now with the help of an algorithm, I want to create a network which looks exactly like the network of these people. So I see these people, and I feel that the connections between these people are completely random. So what do I do for every possible friendship in this classroom? So if there are 100 students, there are 100, choose two possible friendships. So for each of these friendships, I toss a coin, and if the coin says head, I say that yes, these two people are friends. Otherwise, I say that these two people are not friends. And in this way, I create a random graph. So every time you do this exercise, you'll find a different graph, and all of these will be random. If you slightly formalize this idea, so instead of tossing a fair coin, you can toss a biased coin. So Aldos Rennie were the first one who gave this model for a random graph. What they said was they defined a graph as G and P, where n is the number of nodes, P is the probability of existence of every edge. So now for every edge, we are tossing a biased coin, which shows head with the probability of P. And if the coin shows head, you connect those two edges, otherwise not. And the network which you get in such a way is called a random graph. So we will now look at a hands-on for this. Although there is a direct function which can create a heterogeneous graph for you, we'll try to write its code on our own. So this is important because when in future you come up with your own algorithm to create a graph, you must know how to write some of these codes so that you can extend these algorithms. Assume that you figure out there is some drawback in this Adosreni model, and I want to fine tune it a bit, so you should know how one writes a code for this. That's what we are going to do now. So I'm just going to comment this line here, and we are now trying to write a code for a random graph. So you can take, assume that I want a random graph on 1000 nodes. Definitely you can also take it as an input from the user. I'm not going to do that at this stage. So I'm going to create a random graph on 1000 nodes, where assume that for every possible edge, I'm going to toss a fair coin. Tossing a fair coin means my probability of head is zero point 0.5, probability of tail is also zero point 0.5. If it's a head, I connect those two nodes, otherwise no. Okay. So how are we going to do that? So let's first try to create these 1000 nodes. I'm going to create a graph here, g equals to nx dot graph, and let me do this g dot add nodes, and I want to add 1000 nodes here. Now I have done nothing. I have just created a graph and added 1000 nodes to it. Let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, it shows me an error. So sometimes I run into this kind of errors. Okay, one problem is this underscore here might not be visible to you. I'm going to just change the font so that it is visible. Um, okay, even now it's not visible. Okay, it's some different font, but yeah, this underscore is visible here now, right? So g dot add nodes 1000, so it shows me an error. So when you run into these kinds of error, you can go back to the documentation and check what is happening. What I'm trying to do is, now I'm going to add nodes from, and I want to add it from a list. So for creating that list, I'm going to take a range, and let me take this range from 1 to say 1001, so that it goes till 1000. Let me just see whether it works here. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay, it appears like it has created a graph. It looks like a cloud. Okay, meanwhile, what we can do is, let's try, I'll just reduce the number of nodes here. Let's just take 10 nodes for the time being, so that the stuff happens fast and we can see what is happening. Yeah, so I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 9 10. Okay, so exactly I have 10 nodes here. We can add labels here if we want. So the command for adding labels is with underscore labels equals to true. Okay. Now we have these 10 nodes in our graph. Now what we want to do is, for every pair of nodes, so every pair is to be considered only once, since it is an undirected graph. We are not talking about directed graph as of now. For each pair we want to toss a coin. Now how do you toss a coin in Python? So what I'm going to do is, to implement the simulation of tossing of a coin, I'm going to import a library called random. So this random library helps us generate random numbers. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to generate a random real number r, and I'm using a function here, random dot uniform 0 comma 1. What this function is going to do, it will randomly choose a real number from 0 to 1, and it can help me in the simulation of this tossing of a fair coin. So I say, if this random number which is generated here is less than zero point 0.5, I'm going to consider it as a head. So just think about this. What are we doing here? Assume there is this number line, and there is this zero, and then there are these lots of numbers, real numbers, which are actually infinite, and then there is this one. So I'm randomly choosing a number here, from 0 to 1, right? And if this number is less than 0.5, I say that it is a head. What we have done actually. So here somewhere in the middle you will have a point 0.5. So if the random number generated lies here, and what does that mean? That mean what is the probability that the random number which is generated lies here? The probability is this space, which is this the numbers which lie here divided by the total numbers, which is definitely the total numbers are 2 times this, right? So the probability here is 0.5. So I'm going to choose this, and if r is less than 0.5 somewhere here, I say that it is a head, and if r is somewhere here, I say that it is a tail. So the probability of head is also half, the probability of tail is also half. So if r is less than zero point 0.5, what I'm going to do is I want to connect two nodes. Which two nodes that we need to see? Connect. I'm sorry. I'm going to connect the nodes under consideration, else not, right? So we are going to do this particular step for every possible pair of nodes. So what I can do is, for u in g dot nodes, right? Or better even, I can do it like this: for u in range, since I know that my nodes are numbered from 1 to 11. For u in range this, and for v in range, since I want to consider every pair only one. So if I also take v in range 1 to 11, what will happen? It will check for 1 1, and then 1 2 1 3 1 4, so on, and then again it will start from 2 1 2 2. So that creates a problem for me. I'll tell you what's happening here. So for now, let me just print both of these. Right? Print UV. I'll just implement this later on. Right? So what I'm doing here is, here I'm trying to print every possible pair of nodes. Let's see this. Okay. So when I'm doing this, what is happening is, see, I'm going to toss a coin for each of these pairs. So toss a coin for 1 1. Actually, that doesn't make any sense because I'm not considering any loops in this graph. Then you toss a coin for 1 2. But the problem is, again, you are tossing a coin for 2 1. So I want this 1 2 and 2 1 to be considered only once. So here we can have a condition that we are going to toss only if this v is less than, you can put it in either way. Right. Okay. As of now, let me just print it to show you what's happening here. Okay. So see, it's considering everything only once. Uh, okay, so to see it in a better way, let me just make this here. Both of these are same. I'm going to perform the same function. Okay, so see, here comes 1 2, 1 1 doesn't come, 2 2 doesn't come, so on and so forth. 1 2 comes, then 2 1 doesn't come. Similarly, 1 3 comes, so you won't see a 3 1 here. So these are the possible edges in this network. This is a possible total possible number of edges, which is your 10 choose 2. Now for each of these edges, we want to toss a coin and put the edge only if it is a head. So I'm not going to print it here. Rather, what I'm going to do here is, here I'm going to generate this random number, and once you have this random number, you can have this logic. If this random number generated is zero point 0.5, the probability of this happening, the probability of this random number being less than zero point 0.5 is half, which is the probability of a head. Then I'm going to add an edge from u to v. That's it. I'm done. Now for every edge, and if it's tail, I need not do anything. So we don't need a else loop here. So we are done. And let me do one more thing. At the end, let's also see how many edges are there in this network. So I'm going to print the number of edges, and you have a function for that, which is simply g dot number of edges. Straightforward. Okay. So since there are 10 choose 2, how much is 10 choose 2? 10 into 9 by 2, which is around 45. So out of 45 possible edges, there will be some. So we on an expected, we should have half of the possible edges, which is something like 45 by 2, uh, something like 22. Let's see what's happening. See, it's making 24 edges. So every time, uh, so it's quite close to what we were expecting. Out of 45, 24 edges are created, and you can see the graph created here. Let's do it once again, and this time the number of edges is 21. So you can keep doing this experiment again and again. Again, it's near the expected, and every time you will get a different random graph. So most of the times it's quite near to the expected. Okay. Uh, so here we were putting an edge with the probability of 0.5. We can also change this probability. So as we said, we might want a biased coin which puts an edge between two nodes, let's say with a probability of 0.1. So how will we modify this code? So modifying this code for that case is again very simple. So let's say 0.1 is somewhere here, and now if we put a condition, if r is less than zero point 0.1, what is the probability that r is less than zero point 0.1? It's actually zero point 0.1 only. So if r is less than zero point 0.1, we add an edge, otherwise no. So whatever is p, we just need to substitute that here. And what should be the expected number of edges now? It should be something like zero point 0.1 into 45, which is like 4.5. Let's Let's just execute it and see. So it creates three edges here, right? And it's a disconnected graph. So this is how you can create a random graph on your own in network X. You have a function which can do exactly the same thing for you, and let's look at that. Uh, yeah. So here you have a function for that, creating a random graph. So I'm taking this one over here, which is ADOS Renyi graph. You can just search this function. So this one returns you a G and P random graph, also known as ADOS Renyi graph. And the arguments it takes is N and P. N is your number of nodes and P is your probability. So what we can also do is, instead of writing all this code, we can have a single function written by network X for us, and we can include it here. We can write G is ADOS Renyi graph. I want this graph on 10 nodes and with a probability of 0.5, and let's just execute it and see. So you get again 22 edges, exactly the same thing which we were getting before, 27, 25, so on and so forth. Perfect. So this was the first kind of network which was considered quite close to a real world network, which is a random graph. Now, whether random graph is a correct representation of a real world social network or not, so to look at that, what we'll do is we'll look at certain properties of the real world social network, which is coming up in the next video. We'll compare those properties against this graph which is randomly generated, and we'll see whether these properties match or not. As simple as that. So coming up in the next video, we'll see whether these random graphs serve our purpose or not.